Good evening time, everybody. Can't get this thing backed up a little bit. There we go. Alrighty, so got some miscellaneous repairs taken care of today. Figure we get back on this for the evening for a little bit. I got one more I'll probably work on for just a little bit later on this evening, but yeah, I'll see how that goes. But anyhow, we're back on our 2x6 here. I guess I hung them up already. All right, so we talked to the customer earlier. Well, actually, yesterday after we got off the live feed, and I had forgot that he talked about where he wanted the 5/8 core transformers. So I went ahead and pulled those off, which is no big deal. Thankfully, we weren't any further along on the build than what we are. So. It's relatively easy to go back and make slight changes like this as we go along. So now I'm just going to get these all tacked on, and then we'll worry about getting all of it squared away here in just a minute. Come on, baby. So since I had the other transformers already wound and the capacitors and stuff put on, I figured, well, we'll just go ahead and put another set of caps on these, and then that way I can go ahead and just drop those others in, and it'll actually speed up my process quite a bit. So. Well, good evening, Charles. What's going on, big dog? All right, let me grab some wire. That way we can go ahead and get power distribution taken care of, and then we'll drop these transformers in after we get those wound. And what's kind of unique is because of the girth of these, we'll actually be able to go ahead and reuse all of our current dots that we've got. So actually everything's going to work out really good on that. Anyways, let me grab some wire. Fixing to take an antenna down. Well, I've got one you can take down and then put another one right back up. Don't mind me, I'm just standing up here cutting the wire. That way I can kind of keep the wire where I want it. And I don't have to reach back up and re-spool it. So. One more. So you're out playing with antennas today, huh? Well, while you're playing with antennas, I'm out here playing with amplifiers. Finished the repair on a 1x4 that I've been trying to get to for the last 2 months. Finally got it done. I got, what else was it I did? I did that. Finished a repair on a 2950 that's been here since last year. Oh, you're going to do that yet this evening, I guess? Yeah, I apologize for not getting out of here a little sooner. I went ahead and had some dinner a while ago and finished making my last call of the evening, or messages sent. Surprised I didn't get a reply back though on the one. But we're going to get, like I said, everything else all squared away here in just a minute. It's already taken shape, and it ain't going to take long, and we'll have the rest of what we need on here for the time being anyways taken care of. Tell you what, trying to stick too big a wire sometimes, I think, in these ferrites is a bit of a chore. And let's get the pliers here so I can give a little tug. Yeah, I'll tell you, it gets quite frustrating working on antennas, as I have relearned for the umpteenth time. That is one of the few things I just never got into, was the whole antenna portion of it. I know how critically important they are and everything, but man, you talk about a pain. I got your name wrong. Well, it's Charles, isn't it? At least last time I remembered anyways, it was. But if I put something in wrong, all you do is let me know, and I can go back and easily make that modification. So that's not a big deal. Just let me know I went live. Isn't that crazy? Oh, I thought I put 467. I guess that's dyslexic for you. Well, if that's the worst I've called you today, you're doing good. Yeah, like I said, I can go back. I'll fix that whenever we get back or finish the live feed. I'll try to remember and go back and change that. That's not a big deal. That's an easy fix. Now, what wasn't an easy fix today was the one before I had on the workbench. Now that was one that drove me kind of crazy today. And so I figured out what was going on with it. It wasn't all that bad. It just getting to that point. Still got to do the other end yet. Yeah, the worst part about just flicking and letting this stuff fly is the fact that I got to move so much stuff to get all the little tidbits after I get through trimming. Jeez, oh Pete's. This one corner, it fills up so fast. No, actually, I did not do that one on purpose. Apparently, I had something else on my mind, and like I said, apparently got dyslexic on it. I mean, that sounds like something I would have done though to just pick on you, but no, this time, buddy, it was purely by accident. Boy, toasty. Tell you, everybody's being quiet already. A little interaction goes a long ways. Helps keep the madness going, keeps the talking going. Yeah, I really wish they'd let us go ahead and play music on this stuff. Unless you own the rights to the music. We get a little poopy about that for some reason. Not like we're actually trying to steal anybody's music, we just want to listen to it. All right, buddy. We'll holler at you in a little bit when you get back off the tower and stuff. Okay. Reflow this. This. Yeah, I don't see how you guys actually do that as far as climbing up and down the towers and swinging point to point on those things, man. It just something I've never been able to do myself. Well, I can, but yeah, it's not a pretty sight. There we go. Yeah, I figured today would be kind of a slow day. I didn't figure we'd have too many people out here this evening, but nevertheless, we want to try to get as much done as we can today, and then tomorrow we'll be back at the normal 9 to 5 stuff, even though it's more like 5 to 5. All right, so we got that part there done. Double check my notes because I know that I've had a few things that's changed. Okay. Couldn't remember, and I figured I'd better double check myself. Grab this. How's everybody had a pretty good weekend so far, or anything new and exciting going on? I know I took out a little bit of time today, just very briefly after I got up, and went to town today. Went to a gun and knife show, and I didn't get there very early, so I had maybe 45 minutes or so where I could kind of browse around before they started. Everybody started really putting stuff up. But gee, man, Christmas, I was mortifiably shocked at some of the prices I've seen that people are asking now for some of the used firearms, even the stuff that wasn't even what I would call popular. It just was kind of in awe in that. All right, now we get those transformers wound. Let's see. Let's go with classic black. Let's see. Figured Charles will be in back by now, but yeah, he's working on that antenna, so that ought to be interesting before long. So played around with my meter a little bit earlier today, and more I get acquainted with it, and more I'm starting to kind of understand why BBI uses that so much. Just like I took some readings on another device that was over here earlier today, and they said that it sounded like it was a little high, and I pulled out the Rig Expert, and the Rig Expert came up with the same conclusion for the one particular reading that I was looking for. So that was another thing that was kind of impressive. Makes me feel a little more warm and fuzzy as far as I'm using something that I'm not super familiar with yet. Like I said, I'm hoping that that'll change here very shortly. And this is probably the most tedious part right here. Okay. It all looks nice and pretty. And there's that part. Now let me see what I did with the choke that I made up for that. Now, conductor. See how it's going to lay out before we do anything wild and crazy yet. Yeah. Yeah, like I said, it's been kind of a long day. I don't know what you guys have had to do, but all right. Let's make a couple of slight little changes here. I want that to set it just a hair higher. Double A, are you in there tonight? I know you usually don't say a whole lot. And then once in a while, you'll get in there and watch some of my live feeds. What did they drop in there? I guess Charles ain't gonna make it back, at least not anytime soon. Probably killing him because he's working on an antenna, knowing that I've got his amplifier over here on the workbench. And he's not getting to watch every little bit of it. But that's one of the nice things about having stuff here on YouTube is you can always go back and watch it over and over and over and over again. I think that's what I want right there. So we'll plug in our hot glue gun. Some silly stuff here out of my way. Shoot, the only person that's interacted with me so far is the actual owner of the amp. No questions or anything from you guys today, or what? Cat got your tongue? Oh, well, hello, popcorn. Yeah. I was beginning to wonder if I was just talking to myself today. All right. Let me grab some more ferrite. That way I can go ahead and make my Class C chokes for that. Wish I had some pink wire. I'd put some pink wire in this thing for him. Let's see. Colors, colors everywhere. Let's see. Don't want to use that. That's way too big. Hey, not a problem, Warren. I'm gonna have to figure out if there is something on there that makes me hold your comments or what. I do not know, because it's doing the same thing today. So I'm gonna have to figure out what's going on with that. That's just really unusual. That's the first time I've seen anything like that. So I'm not real sure what's going on. Speaking of popcorn, though, that actually sounds pretty good. If I had a microwave out here, I'd probably throw me a bag in the microwave and have some myself. I've been trying to get some of my other buddies that build. I've been trying to get them to do some late night live feeds, but most of them they go to bed like before the chickens are even up, you know, or I shouldn't say up, but actually ready to go to bed themselves. So a little bit of noise that you're hearing in the background is actually the chain. I've got a chain that is it's kind of a safety chain. I don't know if you guys noticed it the other night whenever I scanned up there on the ceiling, but I've got a safety chain that goes from one side to the other just in case. I actually wanted to make the sides out of aluminum, and unfortunately I didn't have any at the time, so I used a hardwood to make my sides. So just tried to make it as safe as I could. I did not know that there was even a place that actually made pink popcorn. Okay. But yeah, I know a lot of places there in California. I know that they are changing venues and, you know, moving to other states, which is, you know, somewhat unfortunate. You know, but you know, I know the state itself has really, really pushed a lot of people away. You know, as far as big businesses, which is kind of unfortunate. Really and truly, it is. Oh, the ones at the fair. Okay, yeah. Okay, I get you. I see, said the blind man to the deaf man as he sits behind him. Of course, that's the clean version. Of course, the dirty version really isn't all that dirty either. Yeah, I knew Tesla was moving. I think they're moving to where is that? Texas, I believe. And good evening, Kenneth. Yeah, I am kind of up late. You know, you have to remember I work third shift, so this is It's not really that late for me. Leastwise, not as a whole. You know, I do plan on cutting off a little early this evening because I do want to go in there and spend an hour or two in front of the boob tube. I haven't even watched TV any this week. By the way, good evening time, Jeannie, if you're out there. She joined us for the first time yesterday. And then I've got Three Fingers. I actually kind of halfway expected to see him today as far as pop in here to the shop because he's 35, 40 miles away. He's not real far away from the shop at all. He keeps threatening he's going to stop by and say hi and introduce himself. I know he was in there here the other day. Of course, Saturday I got to visit with MC Kid for a little bit. If any of you know who that is on the radio, he's over there in the St. Louis, Missouri area. Kind of enjoyable when him and his wife stop by. Of course, unfortunately, it always takes me longer working on his stuff because we get to talking. So a 30 or 45 minute project turns into about an hour and 35, 40 minutes. It's been somewhere, it was a little over a year ago since he popped in, as far as here in the shop. And he seemed quite pleased as far as on some of the changes that he's seen in here. Like I said, just really enjoyed himself. What I really feel bad though is the fact that he got a call and they asked him to come in, and he still had a 6.5, 7 hour drive yet, just to get back home. But he works, he kind of works halfway like I do as far as late in the evening most of the time. So it wasn't quite so terrible, but alrighty. Well, I know the glue gun's hot enough. Yeah, I better grab another stick before I get started. Otherwise, I'll run out before I even get all done. I've seen this done multiple different ways, and I've tried a couple of different formats as well with the glue. I mean, I've used silicone and different adhesives and what have you. And for whatever reason, I always keep going back to just the good old-fashioned hot glue. Yeah, I may have to change this one out because I can't remember. I've seen times where you have to have 2 turns, and then I've seen times where all you need is, or you need 3. So I figured we'd start out with the 3 and then kind of go from that point forward and see what it turns out. Okay. Figured maybe Early would have been in there tonight. Talked to him for a little bit on the phone. Just kind of catching up with him for the week and seeing what's going on. And he was in there playing Little Miss Susie Homemaker and making his girl there some dinner, I guess. Of course, it didn't sound like that in the background. It sounded more like she was doing all the cooking. Yeah, I still love picking on that old fart. Well, Popcorn, do you live over there in Calais, or some of you, I don't know where all you're from, so I just got to kind of take a shot in the dark on some of it. Tell you what, guys, these HGs, since we've started messing with these here 4 or 5 years ago, it never ceases to amaze me how many different things that you have to change from time to time. I mean, it's all subtle, but it's just like used to. I would always use three short little pieces of coax, and that seems to work. However, I've noticed on the last couple of them, one of which was a repair that had came in. Now, unusually, or however you want to put it, it actually worked much differently. It actually required me to do a whole different type of setup on the combiner. This is more of what I would classify as the Texas Star way of doing it. The only difference is instead of the leads just being whatever it takes to get from here to here to here, they just put it whatever random size that they think it ought to be, and they call it good. But not with the not with the HGs. They're, like I said, just kind of a whole different breed of animal. What works one day doesn't always work the next. Based on what batch of transistors. And it's kind of halfway unnerving, because you can't just stay with the same exact formula that you're used to using every single day. you know, unlike the Toshibas. Um, you know, I know some guys, they've actually got to where they prefer the HGs over the Toshibas. Of course, you know, I can kind of halfway see, because generally speaking, I've been getting more output power, but I liked the consistency. You know, the consistency was always there with the Toshibas. So based off of the last one of these, the input, I had to have just 2 turns on it, with the style of combiner that we're actually using. So, or, well, combiner, yeah. I mean, it's still a combiner, but it's also a splitter, you know, based on whether it's on the input or the output. But just never ceases to amaze me. As soon as I get it ready for tuning, then I'll go back and we'll figure out what we need here, here, and here, and be able to get everything tuned out based on, you know, based on the locations and stuff. What I think I'm going to do is make me a standoff for that. Come here, come here. There we go. No, Warren, this is actually using just the regular 2879s. This one is not the C series. I am looking into building. Like I said, I did a cooperation with the C box here just a few weeks ago, and I was pretty impressed with the C's in a 6-pill configuration. So, you know, I definitely want to try it out and see what it says. And Mr. DD, I see you're back in there too. Thank you. Oh, come here. Yeah, my buddy Charles, he kind of got tired of hearing me complain about the drill bits that I had, since they were, you know, well, I bought some Harbor Freight to get me by the other day, and, you know, I've used those till there was pretty well shot, which didn't take very long. But I mean, what do you expect? I mean, it was an $18 set of drill bits. Yeah, that's what I want. Huh. Well, interesting. Now the one that I had over here, and it was actually offered, he'd actually offered to leave it with me. And I actually thought kind of hard about it and kind of halfway wished I would have kept it over here. That way I could kind of show you guys. However, with the way it was done, like I said, it was built very old school. But it also worked very, very well. So I do want to build another one. However, I've got I'm going to just lay that down out. There it is. Isn't that awful? My brain feels like it's mush today, I guess. Since I've got the new KC901, once I get this one tuned out using it, because like I said, I am going to use that specifically for this one because I haven't had a chance to really play with it a whole lot, which I've only had it just for a few days. Again, though, what I've seen with it, I'm very impressed. Now, one thing that I want to do once I get the circuitry and everything balanced on this, I actually want to go back and try and build an old school 2x6, or well, 1x6. Well, that one was just a straight 6. But anyways, what I want to do is actually try to build a 6-pill using the new technology that we've got here, and also with the C's. That's what that one was built on, was the C series that was in here. But instead of using a standard combiner like this, it actually used a port combiner. Yeah, a port style combiner. So with that being the case, we talked about it as far as me and the other gentleman was here, and now that I've got way more pieces of equipment that I can actually get some good information on, I can kind of come up with some more data. This one is standard three-way port or three-way combiner. The other one is a port style combiner. Now what's nice is I can actually go back, especially with some of the other pieces and parts that are available to me, and I can go back and actually make the port style combiner, which is essentially, let's grab one here. Essentially what it is it is nothing more than a transformer with the wire ran up here and then back over. So like I said, I'm really curious to see how that's going to react. Because like I said, it's been forever and a day, but I was actually impressed. It didn't draw as much current as I had expected, especially with it being the 2879Cs. But we got 900 bird out of it. So again, quite interesting. Let's see if I can find what I'm looking for here. Dee Dee, if you're getting out there, buddy, we'll talk at you later. You have a good night. You need to go to bed, huh? I'm glad somebody got in there on the Epic side of it. I was too busy taking care of people. Good evening time, Ruben. So you decided to pop in there. Art. All you need is a radio, huh? But anyways, I've still got a few of these left from one of the last little excursions that I was experimenting. But anyhow, like I said, I'll actually be able to build my own port, based off of what I need. So, like I said, I really want to try, I really want to try it on a 6-pill, because I've got some, some different ways that I want to see the different reactions. It's going to be built similar, and I'm going to say very similar to the old school port, since I've got some of the pieces. The input, I've got everything I need to be able to build an input. I don't have everything I need, though, to build the output combiners. Combiners. So it's just a matter of placing another order, but I've got to get all the other stuff together and find out, find out what's what and where, and get everything else squared away. Then I can go from that point forward. Okay, let's get that drill and get going. There it is. Looking for something else. Water, water, water. Yeah, this year, as far as getting radios into me, Ruben, is going to be an act of Congress almost. And the reason why I say that is I've got one more I got to take care of for a customer. And then because of the fact that I'm building the amplifier for this one, that's the only reason why I went ahead and told him I would go ahead and set him up a new radio. So unless I'm actually building an amplifier, I'm actually not going to be taking any more radios for the rest of the year. And the reason behind that is I've got a lot of new stuff that I'm getting ready to roll out with, and I've got to get all the all the P's and Q's in order. Man, these things are super nice. Are you for real? For real? Yes, I am for real. Unless I am selling an amplifier, I am not taking any more radios this year. You know, it's not that I don't want to, it's the fact that I've got, you know, this last month I dropped just for materials. That does not count this little meter box over here. But I have dropped in excess of $6,000 this last month just for transistors and cases. You know, so I mean, I've got a lot, you know, I've got a lot of money that I have actually invested into going into this new series of amplifiers and power supplies, and I'm not done yet. Now, I'm not saying that I may not take a few in towards the end of the year, but as far as the primary part of the year, right now as it stands, I am not going to take any in until basically further notice. You know, I've got one project radio. I told him I was going to try to take a look at it in February. Like I said, I've got a new case that I've actually have in the works right now. You know, I'm waiting for them to finish up the plan, you know, finish drawing up the plans, you know, that I sent them, mainly because I don't have CAD. So, well, you know, I've been building this stuff, you know, I've been building this for the last 27 years, big guy. Theoretically, with one of the up and coming products that I've got in the mix, like I said, I've got to get it built, I've got to get it tested, and see how it goes. If it you know, if the one works out like it should, then I'll progressively go up. But I've got basically 3 different types of new amplifiers that I want to work on and get everything put together, see how it's going to run. You never know. I may even send one of them up in your direction. You know, since I can now call you, now I'll be able to officially call you the mouth of the South. Who, you? Yes, you. Well, you don't live in New Jersey no more, so you don't live in the northeastern version of the state. You are now officially a transplant into the northern states. Speaking of which, I know that you recently moved, you know, not too terribly long ago. One of the questions I've got for you, though, Art, do you ever hear anything from Steve anymore? I know you guys were on the radio together, constantly. I haven't heard anything. I haven't heard anything from him in long time. I know ever since he bought that new house, I haven't heard him on the radio or anything. But yeah, I wasn't sure if you heard from him anymore or not. Like I said, I haven't heard from him, since he's built that new, or I keep wanting to say built a new house, bought that new house. Yeah, I knew that he wasn't planning on getting out of, it, but again, I haven't heard anything from him in a long time. So, I mean, he wasn't as big a pain in the ass as what you are, but still like talking to him. Yeah. Yeah, that's kind of what I took from what I've seen of his Facebook page. And I know he's been into a lot of different things as far as the automobile's concerned. Of course, I've also got some other friends that's kind of the same, same scenario right now that they're in. They're into, the derby cars and this and that and something else, and which is pretty cool. Oh, now that I know most everybody looks and watches some of the stuff that BBI puts out there, and I know one of the things that he talked about was the coax of the gods and some of the new coaxes. But where Zane over there at Big Rig, he'd gotten some, he'd gotten some in, and where he'd made a few different things. He cut off some, he took the leftovers and sent me a small sample pack. The stuff that is essentially the same as a RG316 in the different version. So I'm gonna play around with this, and then if I like it, and as far as how it acts and reacts in an amplifier, I may just go ahead and swallow hard and ask him where he bought it at and a price for some of it. So but again, he bought, I don't know where he keeps coming up with some of this crazy stuff. It's good crazy stuff, but it's still crazy stuff. But he sent me, like I said, some, just miscellaneous cutoff pieces, and even threw in, and for small little short runs like what I'm going to do here. He sent me some of these what I call scraps, and considering how expensive this stuff gets, even in the RG316, because you're looking at about roughly you're looking at about 75 cents a piece now for some of this coax, on just the RG, just on the RG316. So I definitely want to play around with it a little bit to kind of see what I think of that other coax. Well, that's the interesting thing. Like I said, I got to get time to put it together. I'm not going to say that it's not something that you of all people can't blow up. You probably could, you probably would, and you probably will. But you'll have to wait and see. Like I said, I'll get it put together here in the next month or so, and you'll be able to see more of what I'm referring to. Definitely want to run some more of that. Do you have everything set up, Art, for a base station yet? Or are you still just staying in the portable? And I know you were kind of halfway forced into the mobile application for most of your needs up there in New Jersey, just because of where you lived and the amount of area that you had to work with. So now that you've moved, I didn't know if you've set up a base station or not. If not, I may have to, once I get it built, I may have to send it to another individual. It's just I know that I can get you to run the living snot out of it too. Okay, yeah, because this is actually going to be in a base application. It's not something I'm going to be able to set up and set up for a mobile at this time. Well, that's a good deal. And I talked to Charger here just a couple of weeks ago, and like I said, I'm just kind of curious as, like I said, all the new stuff that's coming up and it's going to be going on this year. Like I said, it's going to be an interesting year for me, I think. You're going to be able to run a 110 box as well. Okay. Yeah, this will run on a regular 110 as far as what I've got the plans for. So, like I said, we'll see how it all rolls out whenever I get to that stage. $4K inverter. Well, that should work. It should be enough to run what I've got. It's just like another project. Yes. kind of an old one, but this is another little pet peeve project that's got a little work that needs to be done, and it's going to get actually re-engineered for a customer. But he's got this that's designed and built for his fight truck. So he wants me to re-engineer it, see if I can make it heavier duty. But this is so that he can change the voltage, because that's all it is, a voltage regulator for his yeah, those things, alternator in his truck. So this is another one of those projects that I'll be working on later this summer. Wow. I didn't realize a 4K inverter would actually run a power supply that big. That will actually be very interesting to see. I don't know what you got in your mind. Only the good Lord knows that one, but yeah, I'm not sure what you've got planned there. Yeah, I left that long because I wasn't sure if he wanted a variable or if he wanted to do straight. So I figured if I made it long enough that I could put a variable on it, I'd just leave it like that until we made the determination. Remember, I have LiPo. What's that got to do with you suck starting a Harley? No comment. Okay. At least I figured I would have had a comment back from you on that one. All right. Still got to put my input tune here, the output tune, which I'm not concerned with at the moment. But the thing left, really, I think that we got to do primarily is this, and then put our distribution caps here on there for noise-related issues. So, yeah, I think we're going to be in pretty good shape there. Let's see, that cap, I'm going to wait on it because I need to sit there and find out more on that, what I'm going to need. So, let's see. Let's go ahead and put our caps and our other stuff back here. to refill my little bin here before too much longer too. I shouldn't give Early some of those for Christmas. I gave him a bag of 100 of them, but I've been really digging these for a lot of different applications. Now, I actually ordered these from a company that I used to do a lot of business with back 15, 20 years ago. You know, and a lot of it, the reason why I kind of fell out and away from them is just because of the fact that they, they're a parts company, but they're limited. They're not always going to have everything that you need as far as a one shop, one place to shop, one-stop shop. So, I hate just ordering just one or two items, specifically from any manufacturer. I want to be able to order the larger duration of what I need, from one place, which cuts down on my shipping costs, cuts down on, a lot of different things. So, I've been trying to be more frugal as far as with shipping costs, because, there's times that I incur a large amount of cost, and it's due to just having to order things from 5, 6, 7 different places. Sometimes you don't have a choice because that's, one company's only got XYZ part, and another place they've considered or abandoned the part and listed it as a obsolete. So there's I try to make the best out of every order from every company that I deal with. That's just like there's one company that 2 years ago I sent them probably $500 a month order. Is typically what I would do with them. Some months it would only be maybe 150, but regardless, it was always a sizable order because they had a lot of the little stuff that I used on an everyday basis. And now I don't have as great a need as what I once did for the stuff that I was buying from them, which kind of saddens me to a certain extent. But again, I've just been overwhelmed with other work that requires has other requirements. But I've actually got to place an order with them sometime by the end of this month so that I don't run out of a couple of different products. Charles, did you ever make it back in there, big guy? He might still be swinging on a tower, too. Never know about that guy. Ah, now I see what your method of madness is. I see, said the blind man to the deaf man. As I pee into the wind, it all comes back to me now. these. I'll tell you, with you around, Art, it definitely would never be a dull day. Good evening time, or morning time. How's cornbread doing today? I didn't think your four-cylinder would make it up the hill that big. Yes, sir. I will definitely say the same thing. I am on the green side of the sod, so it's definitely been a good day when I woke up. The time the good Lord allows me to do that, it is definitely a good day. Well, Jeannie, if you popped in there, good evening time. Oh, I haven't heard anything yet from her, but one of my Facebook friends, I thought maybe she'd pop in and at least say hello. You need a comp 29. Well, that can be done. Like I said, that'll probably be towards the end of the summer. Like I said, I've got just a tremendous amount of different things that's going on that I'm trying to get all the way through on different things before I actually try to do anything like that. I do have, like I said, several different things that are going to be in the mix that will be coming up. I may actually be able to hook you up with one though, because I've got another one that was in my personal vehicle that I haven't used in a year. It's sitting over on the shelf doing nothing. Well, I appreciate that because I really don't want to see you tear up that 959. Oh, Lord. The last echo board I put in for you nearly drove me insane, and it should have been something simple, which I do have to order some more echo boards. I've got one left, and it's actually spoke for. As I said last year, I cut way back on radios, and then this year it's going to be cut back even more. Yeah, it's nothing against everybody. It's just the fact that I've got some other things that I want to roll out with, and I've got to have the ability to take some time and do some rework and check out and test and play with all this new equipment that's out here. That is just one shade difference on color. There we go. That's the same shade. You think you know what I'm doing? I'm glad somebody does, because I sure don't. Oh God, I remember the days of the Workman Echo board or Echo microphones. Uh, they were quite popular just because, well, back then you could buy the microphone for the same price as you did the Echo board, um, and because of that, a lot of people bought those, and you could do all right with them, but that's about it. You really couldn't get it dialed into exactly what you want, but it suited most people, as far as for their needs at that time. Of course, now, you know, 25, 26, 27, 28 years later, um, yeah, the technology has changed so drastically. Not just on the microphones, but the radios themselves, uh, which is just unbelievable. 3-element magic mount. Knowing you, Art, that's going to be something interesting. Well, I hope Charles is okay. I haven't heard him. Say anything since. Oops. I guess I cut a little too deep on that. But I haven't heard him say anything in quite some time. I know he said he was going to go work on an antenna real quick. But, yeah. Let's see how that's going to roll for me there. Should work. Let's see how close that is to the other. close enough that I can trim it exactly the same on both ends. It's even better. Now, somebody else I haven't heard from on the radio in quite some time, and I need to try to remember to give him a call either Monday or Tuesday, check in on him. Which would be that High Plains Drifter. I don't know if he's been shooting the airways much here lately as far as out in the big rig, but I know that's something that I need to check in on because I haven't heard from him in some time. He and I used to talk on an everyday basis, and well, life happens, and he's back to driving a truck. I'm working on a factory, but I don't have the time here in the shop that I used to have. So when I was in the shop and I'd get bored, sometimes I'd give random people a call and shoot the bull with them and whatever else. But he and I have always stayed in touch over the years. And, just kind of miss it. Of course, that's just like Crazy D. He used to call me about once a month or once every other month. I know he still pops in there as far as on Facebook, from time to time, but he's another one that, there for a while I was actually talking to him kind of regular, but he ain't been out there as far as, talking and, shooting the bull, giving me a call once in a while like he used to. Of course, I know he did change venues as far as the company that he's working for, and I think he's doing more of a local haul now instead of over the road. I think it's mostly a day job. I don't think either that or it's like just one overnight here and there. But again, I haven't talked to him in, gee golly, like I said, probably a year. Yeah, another one used to pop in here on a pretty regular basis every time I'd get in there. Kevin, I can't remember what his last name is, but I think he lives up there in Maryland. He was actually on here last night on the live feed for a little bit, but there for a while I was actually hearing from him on a fairly regular basis. I don't know if these will work that low or not. Hey, never used these on the RG316. Not for that small. Use these a lot on RG400, but never on RG316. this coax, see where we're at here. Yeah. You guys ever talk to your coax? Sometimes you got to talk to this little bitty stuff. Leastwise, if you want it to lay in there the way you want it. There we go. This one soldered in. Now the worst of the worst is done, other than trying to get this stuff to lay in here. Yeah, I can see that. I've been there, done that too. You know, you try to de-escalate the situation, but yeah, it doesn't always happen. It doesn't always happen that way, does it? Even though we start talking to inanimate objects, and for some reason, you know, it's kind of like the drunk man at the bar. We're not talking about the friendly one. We're talking about the one that's mean and aggravating and doesn't even like himself in the mornings, let alone whatever's going on. I think I'm going to go a different route on this one. There you go, Gary. Yeah, I've seen those. I actually own a set. Give me a second here, guys. We'll be right back. Grab something else. Yeah, speaking of handcuffs, that's one of the things that I actually started doing back whenever I worked out west in Arizona. It wasn't a requirement, but depending on the circumstance, it did help to de-escalate situations. Of course, out there, I dealt a lot with Border Patrol. Dealt with them and the MPs whenever they'd come off the base where I was at. second here and I'll look at your comment. I've got this right where I want it, so I want to keep it there. I don't know if that would be better to feel like Rodney Dangerfield or oh, I just had it and I can't remember, because it reminded me of another gentleman who's kind of like Rodney Dangerfield. At least you didn't feel like Benny Hill. Rodney Carrington was the one that I was trying to think of, by the way. Almost everybody knows who Rodney is. Totally different type of humor. Of course, you must say that if you know who I'm referring to. Two of my favorite comedians. Yeah. Yeah, I really wished I could have had a chance to have seen him live. He was playing at the Diamond Casino one year when I was out there, but unfortunately, I didn't hear about it until it was almost too late. I heard about it the day before, and unfortunately, with my job and everything, I wasn't in a position where I could just literally drop what I was doing, and reschedule everything. I unfortunately had to, work for a living. Man, I would have loved to have seen that man in person. He is hilarious. I'm hoping one of these days I can actually get in there and he'll have a show that's close enough that I can go see it here in Indiana. As far as modern, as far as a modern style comedian, granted, I know he does get a little vulgar, per se, but it's just his way of of talking to people. It just is hilarious. You know, sadly though, what I've seen out of the man, I believe that he is quite capable if he really wanted to. I think he actually would have a chance in a singing career. You know, because some of the different little skits that he's put together, um, you know, he actually does put a little bit of true heart and soul into it as far as trying to sing. And, you know, it's like, wow, I didn't know you could do that too. All right, Gary, you take care, buddy. Be safe and have an enjoyable day. Yeah, I'm not going to be out here too much longer. I'm going to finish up what I got going on here, and I think I'm going to do the same. I want to be able to take time and watch a little bit of TV before I have to call it a night myself. All right, Art, you take care, buddy. Like I said, I'm actually going to go ahead and call it quits myself for the evening. And granted, I've got to work this next weekend coming up, but we will be back in here the following weekend. You know, I actually wanted to get to that point where I got the last of the coax set in. You know, and then I'll go ahead and I'll get this mounted throughout this week. I'm going to work on some other small projects that I've got going on too, so that I can hopefully eliminate some more stuff. But yeah, so we got our primary board done, other than essentially two capacitors. You know, the input on our 6-pill. Well, I guess 3 input on the 6-pill, input on the 2-pill, as well as the output on the 6-pill. So with the exception of that, you know, we're done with the palette. So guys, I'll tell you what, you all take care. Have a great evening, and we will catch you on the next live feed.